Welcome everybody. My name is Dennis Perot and I'm the Mayor for the City of Swift Current. I'd like to walk you through our 2017 municipal budget, and I'd like to start with our 2016 year in review. 2016 was a very busy year in our community. It started on January the 8th when our Safe Places initiative was launched by former Mayor Jared Schaefer and Sheldon Kennedy at an event that was highlighted by a screening of Kennedy's documentary, Swift Current. The film reminded us of the importance of raising awareness and working together to prevent child abuse. Safe Places is designed to make our community a safer place for children and youth and to establish equal requirements, and that's training and background checks for all groups, businesses, and individuals who come into contact with youth. To date, over 800 individuals are Safe Places Youth Certified, meaning roughly 4 people every day are becoming certified in our community. On the weekend of January 9th and 10th, we were so thankful for the opportunity to celebrate Canada's game as Rogers Hometown Hockey rolled into our city. It was a weekend of hockey-related activities, interactive games, celebrity appearances, and a live screening of an NHL game on Sunday night hosted by the Ron MacLean. Approximately 5,000 people attended this downtown event despite temperatures in the -30s. In March, we were so very excited to welcome the Worlds back to Swift Current. Having been here in 2010, they chose to come back just 6 short years later. And this week-long event was a tremendous economic boost for our community, with restaurants and hotels packed throughout the tournament. I'm proud to say that over 500 individuals volunteered to help out at this event. This was a 12-team competition that took place from March the 19th to the 27th at the Credit Union Iplex. Huge congratulations goes to Team Switzerland for capturing the gold medal. After the summer, on September the 28th, we were very excited to welcome the Royal Canadian Air Force Snowbirds. They took to the skies above the Swift Current Airport on a beautiful afternoon and evening. Along with the Snowbirds, there were aerobatic demonstrations by Yellow Thunder, Brent Handy Aerobatics, and Gene Soucy Aerobatics. Over 3,000 people attended this event. And in October, we were so thankful. And I think the theme of this is true thanks, as we were able to bring the CCA Finals Rodeo to Swift Current to begin a 5-year partnership that saw this major championship move here after a long stint at Agribition in Regina. We held the event from October 19th to the 22nd at the Credit Union Iplex. And the feedback from the Cowboys was overwhelmingly positive. They loved their new home, the facility, and how Swift Current embraced them. We look forward to welcoming the Finals Rodeo back October 18th to 21st, 2017, and well into our future. We're thrilled to have them for 4 more years. Over 8,800 tickets were sold for this event, and the Saturday night final was totally sold out. Every year, for the past dozen years, we have been incredibly fortunate to host the SaskPower Windscape Kite Festival, which is an internationally renowned festival that brings celebrity kite flyers and enthusiasts from around the world to enjoy 2 days of outdoor fun and entertainment. We're very excited for the 13th annual festival coming this June 24th and 25th. And I want to say a huge thanks to Shan Gowan and her amazing team of volunteers for putting this tremendous event on to kick off our summer each and every year. One of my favorite events, which has become a staple every summer here in Swift Current, is Market Square. This amazing downtown attraction has been going strong and growing each year now for 6 seasons, and I'm very much looking forward to the 2017 kickoff on June the 18th. And I'd like to say a big thank you to Marlene Johnson and the many volunteers for their tireless efforts in making the market run like clockwork each and every year. Throughout the year, we also spent time with a number of seniors at various facilities around our community to come together and discuss a wide range of topics, from accessibility to transit to healthcare and much more. This was part of our Keeping Current initiative, and we were fortunate to work with some great partners to put on all of these events, including the Cypress Health Region, the Saskatchewan Abilities Council, and Riverview Estates. These forums gave us the opportunity to listen to seniors and understand the things that matter most to them. We also had another Keeping Current program called Teen Speak, which is designed to create open dialogue with teens about the things that are important to them, such as community activities, school and friends, parents and siblings, and bullying. There have been 2 Teen Speak events so far, at Youth Fest in the summer and at the Center in the fall. We look forward to holding more of these events in 2017. Our community asked for more events, and our administration definitely delivered. As you can see, our 2016 was loaded with events in our community, and our 2017 is going to be as well. A huge thank you to Council administration for all the work that they did on ensuring the success of all the events in our community. In 2016, we issued 164 building permits, 6 more than the 158 we issued in 2015. The total value for building permits in 2016 was approximately $30 million. We have issued over $586 million in building permits since 2004. It's also exciting to note that 160 new business licenses were issued in 2016, for a total of nearly 1,400 licensed businesses in our community. I was thrilled to see Swift Current ranked #1 overall in Saskatchewan in the Canadian Federation of Independent Businesses Entrepreneurial Cities report. And we also ranked #1 of all Canadian mid-sized cities for entrepreneurial presence. Thank you to the businesses and entrepreneurs that chose to invest in Swift Current. Our city is brighter and our community is better as a direct result of that investment. Some of our major projects from 2016 include Cypress Point. This new residential community adjacent to Elmwood Golf Course is all about lifestyle. Nestled amidst a beautiful setting surrounded by acres of green space and activities galore. This particular lifestyle has never been available in Swift Current until now. We also saw the rehabilitation of the barns at Kinetic Park, providing a clean space for the safe storage of livestock. The availability of these barns supports the hosting of such events as the CCA Finals Rodeo and Frontier Days. We also saw the installation of the play structure at St. Pat's, the former school site that will now become a community park. The pour and play surface around the play structure will be completed in the spring of this year. This adds much needed active park space to the northwest of our community. We also saw the 2nd Avenue overpass rehabilitation. Thank you to the members of our community for your patience during this project. This was required to bring our overpass to a good as new state, and we were very fortunate to receive joint funding for this project from the provincial and federal governments. The Memorial Banners program from Memorial Park allows our community to pay lasting respect to veterans who have fought for our rights and our freedoms. We honor those who have given so much to protect our values and our way of life, and our memorial banners are a reminder that we will cherish their sacrifices always. That was looking at the past and how busy we were during 2016. Next, I'd like to start into our 2017 budget, and the theme for this year's budget is responsible renewal. The focus of our 2017 budget is to take care of our city's core foundational elements, which means taking care of the infrastructure that keeps our community safe, connected, and moving, and continuing to provide the services that maintain and enhance our quality of life. By ensuring our foundation is solid, we set the stage for growth. By definition, responsible renewal is the use of good and sound judgment in replacing or repairing infrastructure that is failing, worn out, run down, or broken. It is our responsibility to take care of the infrastructure that we have in place by making investments that renew it to a good as new state. Our 2017 budget ensures that we develop the building blocks for growth by emphasizing the revitalization of core existing infrastructure that attracts residents and investors, and the continued provision of first-rate services that contribute to the Swift Current way of life. With a vision of 25 by 25, the overarching focus of our strategic plan is to pave the way for sustainable growth in our community. Now I'll talk about our budget cycle. Every service that we provide and every project we undertake is only possible because of our strategic plan, the basis upon which we establish our budget. Our budget is an ongoing process that is very carefully planned, deliberated, and adopted by Council. Once our budget is adopted, it's implemented and constantly evaluated to ensure transparency and cost effectiveness. This finalized budget is the result of significant efforts by our team, and I'd like to take this opportunity to thank our Council and administration for all of their work on this budget. I'd just like to truly say thank you to both for all the work that they did in ensuring a budget that was delivered on time and on task. At this time, I'll highlight some of our key 2017 capital investments, projects that demonstrate timely decisions focused on taking care of infrastructure to ensure it continues to serve us well into the future. I'd also like to share with you that our council had the opportunity to take a tour of the community and our facilities to get a first-hand look at these projects and understand their importance. Truly thank you to administration for including us in this and for showing us all our facilities across our city. It made our budget process that much easier. The first is our South Railway Bridge. The key issue at this location is the need to replace the existing expansion joints. There are also areas where the concrete is deteriorating that will be repaired. For example, the highlighted area in this photo. Next is our Herbert Street project. This project is subject to pending application from the New Building Canada Fund. The existing storm main is causing street failures, posing the risk of sinkholes, pipe collapse, blockage of our entire storm system, and flooding. You can see in the photos that the 48-inch corrugated steel pipe has completely rusted out. Next, our traffic light structures on North Service Road at Central Avenue. The existing traffic light structures will be repurposed to another location. As you can see, the arms are just not long enough to provide proper overhead lane signage, and this causes driver confusion at the intersection and poses a risk of motor vehicle accidents. Next is our Fairview Arenas chiller. The current chiller is 18 years old and began leaking early on in the ice-making season. This caused temporary arena shutdowns for emergency repairs. If this chiller fails again, it could end our season. The highlighted area in the photo shows the tubes in the chiller, which have failed, causing brine and ammonia to leak together. Next is our iPlex ice surface. This came to council in November 2016 and will be part of our 17 budget. This failing floor, caused by heaving piles in the floor slab, is causing brine to leak through the concrete. We have been monitoring the floor's condition for 6 years and it has been getting worse. This project is a proactive approach to shut down the facility for repairs during the off-season, rather than wait for the floor to fail, forcing a shutdown in season. This in-season shutdown would have a terrible impact on our user groups, such as minor hockey, skating, the Broncos, and our Legionnaires. Next is the St. Pat's School site. It's a site that the city took over just in the last 2 years. This project will provide active park space to an area of the community where currently there is very little. In 2017, we will complete work on the play structure by adding the pour and play surface, and we will begin the installation of an athletic field, including grading, irrigation, and seating. This field is expected to be ready for use in the spring of 2018. Next is our Northeast Parkway expansion. This project will carry on work to extend our beautiful Chinook Parkway, which currently has 22 kilometers, to the northeast area of Swift Current. The Chinook Parkway expansion was part of our open house consultation with the public and is contained in the Chinook Parkway Master Plan. This year, we'll be working to stabilize the bank area that is located to the east of the Regier Honda site. This work will prepare the area for the addition of the boardwalk structure in the future. Next, in an effort to improve customer service, is our utility billing software. This software is required to manage our light and power, water, and solid waste and recycling utilities. Limitations to the current software does not allow us to meet the expectations of our community. The new software will allow us to provide better customer service and become more efficient. Ultimately, it'll pave the way for online billing and payments. Another capital project is our fiber optic network backbone. Currently, not all city facilities have access to the same network speed and functionality. Running fiber optic cable to all of our city facilities is an ongoing project that will be completed in 2021. And by 2021, all city facilities will have increased network speed, improving customer service by increasing productivity. The fiber optic cable network also provides system monitoring and control for substations, lift stations, and remote pumping stations. There are a number of capital projects that we will complete in 2017 in order to meet federal and provincial regulatory requirements. What this means is these two entities are encouraging our city to have these done to meet their requirements. so it's not our choice to do it, though we support them. These projects will preserve public health and safety, protect our environment, and allow us to maintain operating licenses and permits. I'd like to highlight some of the significant regulated projects that we'll be doing this year. The first is the waste disposal hydro-mud. The Ministry of Environment requires us to establish a new disposal site and system for hydro-mud, which is the waste that's generated during the hydrovac process. This material is difficult to dispose of because it does not dry quickly, and it must be dried before it can be repurposed. The site location will be determined when the engineering design is completed. Next is a compactor for our East landfill. There are provincial regulations that require a higher degree of compaction at the East landfill in order to maintain compliance. The purchase of a compactor will achieve better compaction and will also extend the lifespan of the landfill. Next, we move on to slope grading at our East landfill. The Ministry of Environment requires a flattening of the base slope of the landfill. These slopes will be flattened from a grade of 3:1 to 4:1 in sections annually until 2027. This project will also prevent unintentional leachates and methane pathways caused by exposed garbage. Staying with our East landfill, we'll look at our stormwater retention pond project. This project is a requirement of the Water Security Agency, which calls for the construction of a stormwater pond to collect and contain runoff from the landfill. We're going to dredge this channel, which you can see highlighted in this picture, so it can retain storm water. Next is our CPR weir. High runoff water and ice jams over the years have caused damage to this municipal heritage structure. As you can see in the photos, there are a number of missing and damaged planks, as well as vegetation that should not be growing there. This project is vital to the protection of the upstream ecosystem. The projects listed on this slide are additional capital investments that we need to do in order to meet federal and provincial regulatory requirements. And the total cost of all of these regulated projects is approximately $2.2 million. Again, these projects are not ones that we would consider our choice. They're dictated to us by the federal and provincial regulatory authorities. However, we support them, and we definitely will get them done on time and on budget. Now, we'll take a look at our capital rehabilitation and maintenance programs, which are ongoing projects that will take place every year. The total budget for all of our capital rehab programs is approximately $3.6 million. And I'd like to highlight some of our largest capital programs. First program is our downtown streetscape rehab. This annual program to rehabilitate downtown sidewalks is part of our downtown master plan. A full side of 1 block will be selected for rehabilitation, which will include paving stone rehab to alleviate trip hazards, draining problems, and snow removal. Next is our storm sewer main rehab. This annual repair and replace program ensures effective storm sewer drainage. And this year, we'll be doing repairs to culverts and drainage ditches, as well as culvert and pipe replacements. This project reduces risks of collapsing storm mains and roadways, flooding, and property damage. Next, we have our paved street rehab. This is an ongoing program to rehabilitate roads and streets, including patching, overlays, and reconstruction. Our city looks after approximately 145 kilometers of paved streets, and in 2017, we will see between 1.5 and 1.7 kilometers completed, including those shown on this slide. Looking at the rehab that will take place on North Railway Street East, for example, this renewal is required as a result of the additional traffic that we saw on North Railway during the 2nd Avenue Overpass project. In all cases, we prioritize rehabilitation based on street condition, proactively completing renewal prior to streets reaching their critical stage. Next is our sidewalks and curbing rehab. The key issue on our sidewalks are trip hazards that pose a risk to the public safety. This program runs in conjunction with the Paved Street program for operational and cost efficiency. Some of the items within this project fall under the local improvement program and are completed at a 50-50 cost share with affected property owners. Next is our downtown streetlight renewal. This ongoing project is to replace aging and failing light standards in our downtown core. In 2017, we'll complete the 200 block of 1st Avenue Northeast and the 0 block of 1st Avenue Northwest. When this program is completed after 2 more years, we'll see consistent light standards throughout our downtown. Just in this photo, you can see 3 or 4 different styles of light standards. Finally, we'll look at our light and power conversion. This annual program takes place within our downtown commercial core, where we are converting overhead power lines to underground lines, effectively replacing aging infrastructure to meet current safety standards. In these photos, all the lines and poles that you'll see will eventually be gone, and only the gray boxes will remain. Our annual pace is 2 blocks per year. Now, I will turn your attention to property development. In 2015, the last of our available lots at Munro Industrial Park was sold. With continued demand for industrial lot availability, our 17 property development focus will be adding additional lots in an adjacent area that will be known as South Munro Industrial Park. The area that is highlighted in the slide shows the land that is being developed during Phase 1 of this project. 31 acres of saleable land will be developed during Phase 1, with 28 new lots available in the latter part of 2017. This graph shows capital investments in new infrastructure that currently doesn't exist. The majority of our growth investments, accounting for 70% of the total, are made up of property development investments, like servicing at South Munro, rec and culture investments, such as equipment for the 19 Western Canada Summer Games, and federal and provincial regulatory requirements, which I highlighted earlier. This graph shows capital investments in existing infrastructure. The majority of our renewal investments, accounting for 68% of the total, are made up of transportation investments, like street and sidewalks and bridge rehab, our CPR Weir, and the storm main rehab at Herbert Street. Rec and culture investments, such as our iPlex ice surface and the chiller at Fairview Arenas. Our total capital budget for 2017 is $26,585,849. which includes pending grant applications for projects such as Herbert Street Rehabilitation Project. The projected tax increase for our 2017 capital budget is 4.7%. Now I'll turn to our operating budget, which is based on the principle of responsible practice. We are committed to providing the same level of services to the community that residents appreciate and have come to expect in order to maintain the quality of life that we all work hard to enjoy. It also means we respond to growth by becoming more efficient and expanding our capacities in order to handle the additional workload created by growth without adding any new additional personnel. Growth inevitably means more streets to look after, more park space to maintain, more customers to serve, and more events to host, just to name a few. But we do not add personnel to account for this additional work. In fact, since the beginning of 2014, this is what we've added to our operations. 35 acres of green space, 1 kilometer of trail, the St. Pat's facility, 3.4 kilometers of paved streets, 8.5 kilometers of sidewalks, curbs, and gutters, our Safe Places Youth Certified initiative, and more events. And throughout that time, our tax-funded personnel decreased by 1 full-time position. This clearly demonstrates our commitment to finding more efficiencies, because we are literally doing more with less. Our most important job is to serve you, our citizens, and in order to serve you best, our workforce is essential. They are the foundation of our operations. For example, our team that operates our facilities and parks, our professional firefighters who keep us safe, our snow removal staff who keep our streets clean, and our light and power staff who ensure our homes and businesses can function, and our administrative staff who assist residents with booking facilities and setting up utilities. When Council and Administration was putting this operating budget together, as taxpayers ourselves, we did our best to minimize tax increases, despite having infinite requests and finite resources to satisfy them. We can control how we manage our workload, and as we have continued to develop efficiencies over time, we have been able to get more out of our operating dollars. This year, however, there are specific pressures on our operating budget that fall outside of our control, requiring adjustments to offset revenue decreases and increased expenses. The first of these pressures is a decrease in provincial revenue sharing. Revenue sharing is based on 1% of PST sales in previous years. The downturn in the Saskatchewan economy that we saw in 2015 to 16 resulted in lower provincial PST revenue. which will decrease our share by approximately $173,000 this year. And this accounts for a 1.24% tax increase in our operating budget. Next is an increase to our RCMP contract. The city contracts the RCMP to provide policing in our community, and the RCMP's union agreement expired at the end of 2014. With an agreement expected in 2017, this year's budget must account for increases all the way back to 15, when RCMP staff began seeing no increases. And this accounts for a 1.83% tax increase in our operating budget. Finally, we have an increase to our labor cost. In 2017, we will not be adding any new positions to our staff. With that said, we do have some added costs that are going to be funded by taxes that will allow us to honor signed labor agreements. Some operations are funded by user fees, such as when a person uses the aquatic center, but the city only recovers 50 cents on the dollar from user fees, so partial taxpayer funding is still necessary. This accounts for a 0.33% tax increase in our operating budget. Now these three items, the decrease in provincial revenue sharing, the increased RCMP contract, and our increased labor cost, account for 100% of our operating budget increase projected for 2017. This chart shows that over half of our operating revenue comes from property taxes. City fees and charges include facility fees, licensing, permits, and bylaw enforcement. Operating grants include revenue sharing and gas tax. And finally, in the yellow, you can see our light and power dividend. As you can see in this chart, approximately 2/3 of our operating expenses are made up of police and fire, which accounts for slightly over $6 million. City services, which account for $5.5 million. This includes things like communications, IT, financial services, assessment, planning and growth, our library, admin and council. And finally, our rec and culture, which accounts for $7 million. These cover things like facilities, our parks, our golf course, our museum, and our art gallery. Our total operating budget for 2017 is $28,681,095, and the projected tax increase needed to fund this operating budget is 3.4%. A growing, healthy community relies on local, available healthcare services that can respond to the needs of the entire population. Our former hospital levy was $100 per year per residential taxpayer over 10 years, and in 2016, it was totally paid off. We're very fortunate to have a brand new regional long-term care facility in our community called The Meadows. The construction of The Meadows allowed the Ministry of Health to close 3 aged buildings and move all the residents into a new state-of-the-art facility. Similar to how the hospital funded, the province came to the regional municipalities and requested cost sharing on The Meadows, and the cost share for us is $35 per year per residence over the next 30 years. The exciting thing about this cost-sharing model is that the province has provided us with interest-free financing. Now, as you can see, our transition from the hospital levy to the long-term care levy will result in a decrease of $65 per residential taxpayer. Our financial strategy is designed to responsibly save funds for future capital commitments. This strategy allows us to fully fund chargeable equipment, replacing items like the gravel truck pictured here, and to help pay for ongoing capital rehab programs such as paved lane and storm hole manhole rehabilitation, which is also pictured. With a 3.4% increase in operating, a 4.7% increase in capital, and the transition from the old hospital levy to the new long-term care levy, the projected increase to our 2017 budget is 2.76%. And when we add in the financial strategy of 6%, the total increase is 8.76%. Well, what does that mean to our taxpayers? The picture you see here is the home of our city assessor, Michael. Michael's home is assessed at approximately $250,000, which is an average house here in our city. On Michael's tax bill, he will see an annual increase of $130, which is approximately $10.83 per month. By taking care of what we have and always looking at ways to improve, we're paving the way for growth. We're reinforcing and expanding core infrastructure to ensure our community can attract and support growth. We're constantly focused on our number one priority, and that's taking care of you, our customer. To ensure that we safeguard the Swift Current way of life, that makes our community so attractive. We're always open for business, working side by side with our business community to ensure our commercial climate remains healthy, vibrant, and competitive. We're expanding our footprint to develop the spaces that can accommodate new faces. And we're reaching out and offering new and exciting events that bring the world to our doorstep and our community to the world. I want to share with you our Western Canada Summer Games that are coming to Swift Current in 2019. On June 29th, 2015, we learned that we were successful in our bid to get the games. We are very grateful for this opportunity to showcase our community. We're also excited about the significant economic boost these games will provide to all of our local businesses. With the help of over 2,000 volunteers, I'm confident that we will do an exceptional job hosting this event and welcoming athletes and family members from our neighboring provinces and territories to our beautiful community. Next is the Sask Power Plant. In late January, the official sod turning for this facility took place. This power plant is coming at a cost of $680 million, which is interesting because we reached $586 million in building permits over 12 years. Just this one project is more than that. This project is going to bring an influx of labor and an influx of families to our community, and I'm personally excited for the opportunity to showcase our community and hopefully convince some of those temporary families to make Swift Current their new forever home. This project's going to be completed in 2019, and it's going to require about 500 temporary workers during the construction phase. At the end of construction, there will be 26 full-time SaskPower jobs. I want to share with the community that myself, Deputy Mayor Pluis, Tim Marcus, and Marty Sahlberg from the city met with Priority Saskatchewan, and they are striving to ensure that our local trades and our local businesses will get an opportunity to bid on some of the projects that this power plant will entail. At this time, I'd like to reiterate that what we are working to achieve is responsible renewal. We're taking care of all the assets and all the infrastructure that we have in our community and bringing those that need it back to a state where they are as good as new. We're also adding to existing infrastructure in order to sustain the growth that we know we'll continue to see. As a taxpayer myself, I always think about what we actually get for our tax dollars. Municipal taxes are essentially a fee for service, and that's why it's important for us that your tax dollars add up to good value. When you consider all that we have in our community, about 1,500 acres of park space, well-maintained roads that are in good shape, new schools, new healthcare facilities. We have one of the lowest unemployment rates in the entire country. We have a strong labor force, a thriving community of approximately 1,400 businesses that grew by 13% in 2016 alone. We have a professional fire service and a police department. We have our Safe Places Youth Certified Initiative. We have a low crime rate. We have clean drinking water. We have residential waste pickup. We have our own light and power utility. We have great recreation and culture facilities that offer free programming to our residents. We have so much more. It all adds up to one thing. The Swift Current ratepayer is getting exceptional return on their investment. Thank you to the members of the public that chose to watch this video. We're very excited about our city and we're so excited about our future. But if you've got any questions in regards to this budget or really anything else, there's a great email that you can send them to, and it's askthemayor@swiftcurrent.ca, or you can give a call at 1-306-778-2777. And please, if you're interested in this budget, stop on down City Hall and we'll have a hard copy here for you. Thank you so much, and all the very best in 2017.